Do you ever wonder if homeschool is a good choice for you? Comment below with your questions, concerns, or ask about setting up a time to discuss how to start your homeschool journey.
Okay, I am Rebecca Good. I'm here with Homeschool Conversations, and we are going to do an interview today with Megan Roth. And Megan and I met, I think, about a year ago through it was a Facebook group, and I think it was something with talking about looking at homeschooling. Some of the issues going on with the schools, with the masking, and other things going on. And so Megan and I connected, and she has since taken her kids out of public school, and she's now homeschooling them. And I asked her to come on to just tell us more about what that experience was like, and maybe what some of her concerns were beforehand. How is it going now? And maybe what adjustments, and things that she's looking at going forward. Megan, if you'll just tell us a little bit of your background story. You don't have to use your kids' names or anything, but maybe just tell us a little bit about them
Sure.
and kind of how schooling and all has gone for them in the past. And then we'll kind of get into more, what's kind of going on with you in the past year or so.
Yeah, absolutely, Rebecca. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. I think this is an important story to tell for families in Northern Virginia and around the country. So I really appreciate your time. Our decision, frankly, like many families, came out of the pandemic. And my children had been attending public school when everything closed down. I have 3 children, twin boys, and a daughter. And when the schools closed, obviously that was really detrimental for them, as it was for many children. And as it became clear that schools would not reopen, we decided first to transition them to Catholic school, which was kind of a means to an end because that facilitated in-person learning, but there were still a lot of institutional challenges that you might not think would be reflected in private school, and that you would get away from if you moved out of public school. But we encountered that it really was no different. And so my boys are both neurodivergent, and the structure of an institutional learning setting was just really not meeting their needs. And you would know as well as anyone that within the school system, obviously it's set up to meet the demands of basically anybody who's in the middle and who fits that bell curve. And if students don't fit within that bell curve, it can be very challenging, which is not a reflection of the child's ability to learn. It's not a reflection of the child and their intellect. And so even despite the fact that they were in private school, which should have facilitated more customized learning, we found that to not be the case. And so when I spoke with you last year, I was really, in a lot of consternation about whether or not making another change was the right decision for them. But in December of 2021, we decided that after we'd had multiple difficult conversations with the private school and that no changes were being made, that it was best that we take their educational needs into our own home and into our own hands. And so that's how the transition started.
Okay. And when you say neurodivergent, could you explain a little bit?
Sure. And so my one son is dyslexic.
Okay.
He also is dysgraphic and has dyscalculia. And it's funny because, of course, these are diagnoses, right? And I try not to label him because he's an incredibly intelligent kid. And I've interacted with some tutors and instructors who come from different cultural backgrounds. And when I try to explain to them that my son has dyscalculia or is dysgraphic, they're like, what is that? What does that even mean? Maybe it's just that he wasn't taught the right way of learning for his needs. And they don't recognize that he has those challenges. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit here, but one of the very fascinating things is, as a child who has a diagnosis of having dyscalculia, he's now farther along in math than he would have been had he remained in Catholic school. And so
Mm.
it really does show you that when you meet the child's needs one-on-one and you work with them in their manner of learning, they can really accelerate.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, and I like what you're saying about the private school, that even the instruction
Mhm.
still just wasn't what getting at what homeschool can offer, that you can get that customized approach.
Do
Absolutely.
you ever wonder if homeschool is a good choice for you? Comment below with your questions, concerns, or ask about setting up a time to discuss how to start your homeschool journey.